So in this video, I'm going to present to you the number one most scientifically proven method to delete belly fat in humans. So I'm going to be covering what is it, how does it work, how to implement it, and how long does it take to see it work. What is it? It's fasting. Fasting is going periodically without food, but it's not starving because it's self-imposed. So technically it's not like starving, it's fasting. So prolonged fasting is 24 hours or more without food, more specifically without activating insulin. And so insulin is the hormone that basically controls our blood sugar levels. How does it work? When you spend so long without the activation of the hormone insulin, you signal to your body that there is no available glucose and that we need to use ketones for energy, or else you die. Because if you didn't use the ketones for energy, you would have nothing to use for energy. So you're forcing your body to burn fat. So having low insulin triggers the body to break down fat cells and use them for energy instead of glucose. So insulin is just a hormone that is activated every time you eat food, but it's activated mostly when you eat sugar and carbohydrates. So it basically goes sugar, carbohydrates, then protein, and then fat. That's the order of which one activates the most amount of insulin. So, and this is basically relative to the amount of blood sugar that is released when you eat the food. So protein, even fat can activate insulin. Basically, every time you eat, it'll at least slightly activate it, but of course, protein activates it, carbohydrates, and especially sugar. So the more, if something's sugary, it's going to activate a lot of insulin. So fasting also raises growth hormone, which is arguably the most powerful fat burning hormone that we have as humans. Basically, you raise your growth hormone, you low you lower the insulin, and the combination of these triggers ketosis and forces the body to break down the fat cells. It's impossible to not use fat for energy when you fast for longer than around 18 hours. How to implement? You're going to begin with intermittent fasting, especially if you've never done any of this stuff before. Intermittent fasting is 16 to 24 hours of fasting, which is mediated by refeeding during eating windows, which is basically you don't eat for around 16 hours, but then you get 8 hours to eat, and you can eat during that period of time. You could do different amounts of fasting, different amounts of eating. But there's more info on intermittent fasting on my channel. I've got like a full intermittent fasting guide. It should be up on the screen right now. Um, yeah, if you want to learn more about that, then that's there. And then anyway, once you spend around a week doing intermittent fasting, say you do like 18 hours of fasting, 6 hours of eating, then you can go to OMAD. And OMAD is one meal a day. That's what it stands for. And it's basically you just eat one big meal, and then the rest of the day you can't eat anything at all. And then maybe you do that for a week. And then finally you go to 24 hours, which is you eat, say you eat at midday on Wednesday. That means you can only start eating on Thursday at midday. So that's 24 hours without food throughout that period. And then you do that for like, then you have food, and then obviously you go 36 hours without food, which means that you'd be going a whole day plus 12 hours, right? So then 48 hours, which is 2 days. So on Wednesday, you ate at midday. That means on Friday, after midday, then you can eat. So that's 48 hours without food, 72 hours, which is 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. But don't go past 5 days, because once you go past 5 days, you're at risk of breaking down the muscle fibers in your body, because you need amino acids at some point, which is around 5 days. You're going to start needing amino acids for certain processes in your body. So you're going to start breaking down the amino acids. But until that point, You won't break down any muscle because you're just using fat for energy. And so how long does it take for it to work? Well, health benefits begin from intermittent fasting. Pretty much as soon as you do the intermittent fasting, there'll be like some health benefits. But real fat burning begins at 1 meal a day, pretty much, OMAD. And then it gets massive after 36 hours. So you begin burning fat or using fat for energy, which is ketosis, at 18 hours without food. So it takes 18 hours before you enter ketosis. Every hour that you are in ketosis, all the energy is met by fat cells. So you're not using any food, you're not using anything else. You're literally 100% of your energy is coming straight out of your fat cells. So they're shrinking rapidly. And even more importantly, all the exercise that you do when you're in ketosis extracts the energy from your fat cells and burns it. So say you go to the gym fasted. You've been fasting for 24 hours and you go for a gym session. Yeah, you're not going to build that much muscle because obviously you're not eating, but it doesn't matter because all the exercise, all the energy it takes to move the weights in the gym is extracting energy out of your fat cells. And this is why fasting is so unique because when you do like lower calorie diets, you're still eating, so your body's still extracting the energy from food, but you're not eating enough food or energy in general to actually build muscle effectively. So you're in this weird position where you can't actually build muscle effectively, but you also can't burn fat effectively. So you're not in either mode. You're not actually allowing your body to build that much muscle because you're not eating enough. Then you're also reducing your ability to burn fat because you're just eating, you're still eating. So this is why calories, calorie restriction fucking always fails. I'm telling you, it always fails. Whereas fasting is unique because it means that all the energy comes out of your fat cells. There's no food involved. It's literally your fat cells are feeding you and they're dying in the process. So if you went and played a sport, say you did like a basketball game, you play basketball, every time that you jump, every time that you jog, sprint, whatever you do, every fucking basketball move, every time you think, the energy is coming from your fat cells. That's the difference. This is how you delete the fat from your body. This is the secret. This is what they don't tell you. For some reason, they just don't tell you that this is like a good thing. They say, oh, but you'll lose muscle mass instantly. No, it takes around 5 days. You don't need to burn muscle if you're having all this fat because you can use the fat for energy. You don't need to use your muscles. And evolutionarily, since humans are hunter-gatherers, we would have spent about a week without food before we'd get our next meal to hunt. We'd hunt another animal. We'd spend 7 days without food, right? As an example. If our muscles started decaying instantly, how would we hunt our food? How would we get enough food to survive if we couldn't even run because our muscles were decayed? That doesn't work. Biologically, we're evolved to maintain our strength and muscle mass. In fact, if anything, to upregulate our strength and our power when we're fasted because we need it most. The time that you need the energy and the power is most when you don't have the food because that's how else you're going to get the food. So look at it from that perspective. This is how you delete the fat from your body. I'm doing free one-to-one fat loss coaching for anyone who actually wants to burn fat rapidly. I will personally work with you to make you lose all excess body fat, get a six pack, improve your health, improve your diet and lifestyle to optimize for getting lean. And it's all for free. It's not going to be free forever, but it's free right now. So if you were to book in the description, you just click a link, it'll take you to a website and you can book a time to have a call with me. So in 3 months from now, you will have your lean body if you do the coaching. I can guarantee that. But anyway, I hope this video is educational and it's actually teaching you things that you have never heard before, like, oh, fasting, that's bad for your health. It's not. It's actually very good for your health. And if you want to delete belly fat, this is how you delete the belly fat. So anyway, I hope I've covered everything. By the way, if you drink coffee, you need to remember that when you're fasting, if you have sugar or milk, then you're breaking the fast. You can only have straight black coffee. That's it. Same with tea. You can only have it as literally just the tea leaves and hot water. Coffee, you can only have coffee beans or like freeze dried coffee and water. If it's anything else, you're going to be breaking the fast because it will activate your insulin. Sugar does that. Same with milk. You can't have sugar or milk. That's a common question. So when you're fasting, you can't. It has to be straight black. And if you don't like straight black, that's fine. Just don't have coffee. It's no big deal, bro. So with that, good luck, bro.